Hey, it's me, James, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of my most recent deck creation, and that is the Mitchell Gypsy or Bohemian cards. So, stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining me for this video. I am so excited to be sharing with you all my most recent deck creation, the Mitchell Gypsy cards, also known as the Mitchell Bohemian cards. So I'll talk more about that in just a moment. I want to thank you all for expressing interest in this deck, and some of you have even purchased it since it went live in my Make Playing Cards Marketplace shop. So a little bit of backstory if you're just joining me for the first time. This deck was actually inspired by one of my viewers. She goes by the handle on YouTube as Oxy307. And so the story goes is that she reached out to me some time ago asking me if I would be willing to make some more content around Gypsy cards. And so back in the day, this was around 2019, 2020, I was heavily into Gypsy cards. I go through stages and phases with different deck systems. So around 2019, 2020 was my Gypsy card period. And so she went and found some videos from 2019. I give her a lot of credit. She went back in time and watched those videos and then hit me up with a request. So I was all in. And as I was working with the system again, I felt inspired to make my own set because that's what I do these days. If I'm feeling inspired, like I work with a particular deck or system, I go in my mind, I wonder if I made a set of cards like that, what would mine look like? And then usually I'm off and running. So that was how it went in this particular case. And I have to say I am over the moon with the end result. So when you order the deck from Make Playing Cards, the shop site, they will print it. It's a print-on-demand site, so they will print it and ship it to you, and so it takes a couple of weeks. And so I thought for those people who have already invested in the deck, and by the way, thank you for taking that step to support my work in that way. I'm always amazed and grateful for that kind of support. I figured while you were in the waiting period that I would make this video for you, just so you know what's going to be in the pack or the set when it arrives on your doorstep. So first, you'll note that it is in a plastic case. When I make these decks, I usually put them either in plastic cases or tin cases. So I made this and I put it in a plastic case. So when it arrives on your doorstep, that's what you'll find. You'll find a hinged plastic case. So now I'm going to go ahead and open the pack up. Take it out of the casing. And the first card you will see will be the title card. And I will also add at this point that when it arrives, it will arrive with a plastic band on it. Of course, because I'm working with my copy, this is my working copy, I already have removed the plastic band. So, like I said, there's a title card. Now, my pack will be the only pack that says the Mitchell Gypsy cards. When you order the set and it arrives on your doorstep, it will say the Mitchell Bohemian cards, because I decided to change the name once I made the decision to make it available to the public, because the word gypsy is considered a slur against the Romani people. And even though I'm well-intentioned with the use of the word gypsy because I'm using it only to identify the card system itself, I wanted to also respect the Romani people. So I found out that another word for Gypsy in this particular case of the card system is Bohemian. So when you get your set, it will say on the title card the Mitchell Bohemian cards, and that's what I will be calling it going forward. So the title card has part of the image of the fortune card in the inset there, and of course there's the copyright on the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it over, and these are the card backs. And so we're going to go through the cards one by one. I have the standard 36 cards that you'll find in a set of Bohemian cards, and I also have some extras. And then I added my little touches to it. You'll notice that the first card, Anger, and I should also say that when you get it, the cards will be in alphabetical order. because the Gypsy cards or Bohemian cards are not typically numbered, so I put them in alphabetical order. The cards, depending on their type, much like Kipper, they will have colored borders. So Anger is considered a connector card. So just like in my Kipper pack, my Kipper set, I went with pink for the connector card. So Anger, is a connector card. Next up, we have the Baby card, and so Baby is a stop card. And so with that in mind, I went with a red border. Next up, we have Constancy. Constancy is also a stop card. Many modern Bohemian card readers will refer to this card as the job card, the work card, the employment card, or the career card. So more traditional readers will look at this as stability and security over a long period of time. We have the Death card, so now we have a color border change. So Death is a white border, and the white bordered cards in the deck are what we call directional cards. And so when they turn up in a reading, you want to look at, if there's a character on the card, you want to consider which way the character is facing, what direction. Death is not just about endings or completions, it's also a timing card because of the hourglass. You might want to take into account the card that is to the left of the Death card. But again, the white border indicates a directional card. Next up, we have Desire, also a directional card. This card is about needs, wants, anticipation, expectation. Ecclesiastic, this is the card about spirituality. Enemy. Falseness. Now this is a card that talks about something being wrong, bad, something being off in a situation, or some kind of mistake. Fidelity. I call Fidelity the ride or die card. And here we have Fortune. Fortune is considered the best card in the deck. So here in the image we have that cornucopia with the roses and the coins that was on the title card. And then in the background we have the goddess Fortuna. And I love how this card turned out. I love her position, how she's standing. She looks like such a diva. I love the image. So that is Fortune. Next up we have Gift. Gift is a stop card, the red border. And I was really inspired to kind of stick as close to the Piatnik version of Gypsy cards as possible, because that is the pack that I work with, and up until mine, I should say, that I really loved working with. So I really used that as source material. So that is Gift. Next up we have Hope, and I love how this card turned out. So Hope is a directional card, white border. Next up we have House. Stop card. Then we have Jealousy. So Jealousy is a card that is a connector card, pink border. And it's a card that talks about mistrust or distrust and envy. So the idea here is that the gentleman who's in the background looking at the couple in the foreground, this is the side that is about mistrust and distrust. And then a card on this side would be about envy. Then we have Journey. Journey is a directional card, white border. And I liken this card to Change in Kipper. And I should say at this point for me, my experience with the Gypsy cards or Bohemian cards is much like Kipper. There are a lot of similarities in the two systems. So I kind of read the cards that I find similar in both systems the same way. So I read journey as not just a travel card, but also about a change in circumstances. So this is a movement card. So I pay attention to what direction the card is moving in. So like what would be facing journey on this side, because that's where the movement is going. So again, a directional card. Next up we have judge. Then we have letter. So letter is a card about paperwork, documentation, written forms of communication or correspondence. Then we have loss. Loss is a connector card. And it's because in the Piatnik version there's two primary figures, so I went with that. So this card can be about decrease. But for me personally, this card can also be about card reading, because we have the two gentlemen, each with cards on the table or in their hands, so like either studying or reading the cards. So I went with that as a possible meaning, depending on the question, of course. Context is everything when you're working with systems like Bohemian cards or Kipper cards or Lenormand cards, right? It's always in relation to the question. Next up we have love, a directional card. Then we have lover. So lover, with modern Bohemian card readers, is a significator card. So for me, I gave it a blue border. And so the blue bordered cards are a reference to start here, right? So whenever they show up in a reading, you would start with them and work your way out or around. But they are the significator cards. So lover would represent a male seeker, client, querent. When I'm reading for myself, this is a card I refer to. And again, that's more with modern Gypsy card readers or Bohemian card readers. Next up we have malady. Marriage. So this is a connector card, pink border. Merriment. Now, merriment is a significator card for more traditional Bohemian card readers. And so when they work with this card, it represents the querent, the client, the seeker, person who's having their cards read. The woman on the card would be if they were reading for a female seeker or querent. The male on the card would be if they're reading for a male querent or seeker. And then they would do line of sight reading. So the fact that the woman is facing this way, cards to the right would be her future. The gentleman is facing this way, so cards to the left would be his future. So they always start with the merriment card in terms of a significator. Now, more modern Gypsy card or Bohemian card readers would look at this as a card that represents well-being. So for me, I go with the lover, and then the card that's going to be coming up in a little bit, the sweetheart cards, is my significator cards, and then this is a secondary card. But that is merriment. Then next up we have message. So message is a card that represents all forms of communication. The figure on the card is a nod to Hermes from Greek mythology, the messenger god, or Mercury, the messenger god from Roman mythology. Then we have misfortune, the most challenging card in the deck. Next up we have the money card. So this is a stock card, red border. Then we have officer. Next up we have sadness. So sadness is a card about upset, disappointment, sadness. Then we have some money. Some money is a card about change and improvement. It can also be about household expenses. Now here's the other significator card I mentioned earlier. This is Sweetheart. So this would represent a female client, female seeker, female querent. And again, the blue card, or blue border around the card, I should say, excuse me, would indicate this is where you start if it turns up in a reading. You start there and work your way out or around. And so I just realized I'm going to put the Sweetheart card aside for a moment because I'm going to refer to it later on, and I'm going to also pull out the Lover card. So we'll put those aside because I'm going to come back to those. Okay, so moving on, we have the Thief card next. So Thief is a card of loss. It can literally mean something being taken or stolen from you. But for me, metaphorically, can represent the takeaway from a situation or experience. Like, what's the takeaway? So that is Thief. Next up, we have Unexpected Joy. This is a card about unexpected things, surprising things, in a positive sense. And we have the Visit card. So Visit is a connector card. There's two women on the card. So it has a pink border. Then we have Thought. Thought is a directional card, so it's white border. Next up we have Widow. So Widow is a directional card, has a white border. Chiefly, this card represents an older woman. Before, it can represent somebody who is either divorced, widowed, or separated, right? The gist of the card here would indicate somebody who is on their own. Right, so it can represent independence. But like I said, its chief meaning, first and foremost, is that it represents an older woman. And then next up we have the Widower card representing an older man, but the same kind of context. You know, somebody who's on their own, independence. Okay, so that is the last of the 36 cards that normally come in a pack of Bohemian cards. So now here are going to be the extras that you get. So, and this is the reason why I wanted to put the Lover and the Sweetheart card aside. So, the first up is the Partner card. I do same-sex readings, and so I wanted cards to reflect that. And it usually is that's a carry through in all my decks. I make extra cards with that in mind. So this is the Partner card, and this would be the partner to Lover. Right, so this would be the partner to the Lover card. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to put the Sweetheart card because it actually is the male version of the Sweetheart card. If you notice, I have him sitting on a bench, much like the Sweetheart. He's wearing pink, like the Sweetheart is wearing pink. And then, of course, I gave him a pink shirt and tie, and then with a pink handkerchief hanging out of the pocket, or pocket scarf, or whatever they call those things. But in the pocket of the suit, and then I made his suit a light blue. But so he is the male version of the Sweetheart card, but he is the Partner card he would be the male Partner card to the Lover card. Okay. And then the other Partner card is the female version. And so she would be the Partner card to the Sweetheart card. Okay. And then I went with the Lover card as inspiration for that. So much like the Lover card, she is standing. Right? She's standing in the park, just like he's standing in the park. She's wearing a dark blue pantsuit, like he's wearing a dark blue suit. So I wanted some carryover between the card, the significator cards. And both Partner cards have a purple border, because purple is one of my favorite colors, and I thought, well, why not, right? So those are the two Partner cards that you will find in the deck. Next up, we also have two extra marriage cards. So the first is marriage card with two men on it, and again, the pink border denoting it is a connector card. And so this could represent two men being married, or it could also represent two men who are in some kind of partnership, right? So again, depending on the context, you might want to swap this out for the more traditional marriage card. But that is one. And then the next would be the female variation. So I have two women on that card. Again, pink border. And again, same thing. So this might not necessarily be two women who are in either a marriage or a seriously committed relationship, but it could also be some kind of maybe partnership involving two women specifically. And then again, you could swap the card out. And then the last two cards are merriment cards, extra merriment cards. So just like with the marriage cards, they have pink borders because they're connector cards. So the first merriment card has two men on it. And then the last merriment card, and the last card in the deck, has two women on it. And that is the Mitchell Bohemian cards. I want to thank you for spending this time with me going through this walkthrough. And again, for those of you who have expressed interest, I want to thank you for your interest. For those of you who actually purchased the deck already, thank you so much again. It just always blows my mind and amazes me that people are actually interested in what I create to have it in their own personal deck collections. So this is Jameson Mitchell signing off. If you made it to this point in the video with me, thank you for giving me the gift of your time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video on the channel. And until then, have a great day and take care.